Well, it's that time of year. March Madness is upon us, and starting tomorrow, Sioux Falls plays host to one of the best conference basketball tournaments in the nation. I'm Mark Ovenden, this is Zach Borg, and welcome to our Reaching the Summit preview show.
Now, over the next 30 minutes, we will hear from the players and coaches at both South Dakota State and the University of South Dakota on how they got here and their expectations as well.
Now, we've seen some pretty incredible basketball during the years the tournament has been in Sioux Falls, with at least one South Dakota team advancing to the big dance every single year.
That's true. Now, the team that's done it the most often is the South Dakota State women, who made it to the Sweet 16 last year, but they lost a lot to graduation and were in trouble early in the season when Maya Sellen was lost to injury. But that meant an opportunity for others to step up, and that's exactly what senior Megan Boltzmann has done. After scoring nearly 1,300 points at Mount Vernon Plankinton, Megan Boltzmann was in a class by herself. Upon arriving at South Dakota State in 2016, she quickly got an education in Division I college basketball.
It definitely was a shock coming from a smaller school, definitely outsizing at everyone I played pretty much. That was a very different experience.
For the better part of the next 3 years, Megan saw limited playing time. Though it wasn't the career she had expected, the experience Megan was having wasn't worth trading in on a transfer.
I think the atmosphere here just, it's always been like a family kind of thing, so it's something that I've never wanted to leave. When I wasn't playing, it was always then I was focusing on helping to make us better in general, coming into practice to make those people who do play better.
And staying ready if her number was called.
Developing the skills I needed, changing some of my post moves, like tweaking little things here and there is mainly what helped me get over it, and then a lot of extra conditioning, lifting, getting in shape type of things.
Which it would be in her final season following an injury to Maya Sellen. And Boltzmann was ready, scoring nearly 11 points per game during Summit League play.
It's great to see people grow into their role and have great success. Megan's case is a little more unique and special because she worked so hard as a freshman, sophomore, and junior to finally get to this point. A lot of players don't want to do that. A lot of players want instant feedback, instant gratification, and they're not willing to stay with something as long as Megan did.
And ending her career on a high note.
This has been an amazing experience for me overall, but this year obviously has been the topper on the cake.
Now, this tournament has just continued to get bigger and bigger, and now the Summit League headquarters have even moved to Sioux Falls. Eric Thorstensen takes a look at the growth of what has turned into the biggest sporting event every single March in the state of South Dakota.
Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director Terry Schmidt was with the group who went to the Summit League tournament in Tulsa 15 years ago, hoping to get the tournament to move here.
You know, I'll tell you, when we first went down to Tulsa to watch the Summit League, I'll never forget this because their stands were virtually empty.
Since the tourney moved to Sioux Falls and the arena in 2009, the stands have been packed, especially when things moved to the Premier Center in 2015. League Commissioner Tom Duple has been here since the beginning.
Our attendance obviously was, in the 30s, and now we're close, pushing it up into the 60s. I think one of the things that has helped us, obviously, is the development of our programs. We've improved as a Division I league.
The attendance numbers are particularly high on the women's side.
Our women's tournament for the last number of years has our final game has either been number 1 or number 2 in the country for attendance. And overall, for a tournament, we're up there in the top 5 women's basketball.
And it's all good for the hotels, restaurants, and other businesses.
The excitement isn't just Sioux Falls either. It's regional. People come in from all around the region to watch the games. Economically, it's a wonderful piece of business for Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls has 2 years left on a 5-year contract to host the tournament. With the Summit League headquarters now located in a brand new building on the Sanford Sports Complex, chances are good the tournament won't be moving anywhere anytime soon.
We built an equity and a name recognition for the tournament. There's interest there. It's very positive. So I hopefully that we're going to be able to sell that to the presidents, and we're going to be able to do a new contract.
Now, when the Coyote men's basketball team takes the floor on Sunday, it might be a little confusing for their opponents on defense, especially if the discussion in the huddle is, who's got Tyler? After all, there are 3 who play a key role on Todd Lee's team. What's in a name? At USD, it's the one on the hardwood that's hard to miss. Tyler Hagedorn, Tyler Peterson, and Tyler Chisholm.
My mom watching the games, and like she would like listen to the radio and she, Tyler with the 3, and she called me asking about it, and I was like, Mom, I didn't shoot a 3. That wasn't me.
Believe it or not, it used to be even more confusing.
One year we had 2 Treys and 3 Tylers, and shoot, there's another, or we had 2 Austins.
This year's band of Tylers all have their own nicknames.
I've never called him Tyler, because Tyler Hagedorn is Hags, and Tyler Peterson is TP, and Tyler Chisholm is Chiz.
My mom was definitely like caught off guard when people were just calling me TP.
And all have key parts to play on a USD team that wants to put its name in the NCAA tournament for the first time ever.
Hags was out last year. He can get going offensively and be really hard to guard, especially when he has a certain matchup. Tyler Peterson's just our steady Eddie. We rely on him for a lot of different things. Tyler Chisholm, he can be a really good defender. He attacks the rim.
Versatility, I'd say. I think we all are very unique in the way that we play basketball, and even our personalities.
It's good that they know their roles on the court. What's the band name then?
My personal opinion, I said Killer 3.
I mean, the Tyler Trios maybe, I don't know.
Because the band thing might take a little longer.
I would definitely be on the mic. Chisholm, probably electric keyboard, and Hagedorn, maybe bass guitar or drums, if he could figure it out.
The SDSU men made the first of 5 NCAA appearances in 2012 after winning the conference tournament and heading to the pit in Albuquerque, led by Nate Walters. They gave Baylor a great battle before losing 68-60.
Picked 5th in the preseason poll, this year's South Dakota State men surprised under new head coach Eric Henderson, claiming a share of the league title behind newcomers Douglas Wilson and T-Area alum Noah Friedel. Are these fresh faces ready to punch their ticket to the big dance and potentially do it without the injured Wilson? Here's how they feel heading into tomorrow's opener with Fort Wayne.
I would go back to Hendo with that one. Like, he just comes prepared every game. He makes sure we're ready, and he looks at every game the same. Like, he always tells us, it's not about who we're playing, it's not about where we're playing, it's about us.
Most of them haven't even played in the game, so it is a new deal for our guys. And I think our process throughout the year is just, let's take a look at the next game and next opponent who's in front of us. Let's do everything we can to control that outcome.
I think just preparing like we've been doing, not getting overwhelmed. I think that's gonna be the best for us, just not thinking of it like that. Yeah, everybody we know it's gonna be a great atmosphere, but I think that we just don't think of it that way.
This team is unique, and obviously Doug's a special player, but it's not just about Doug, and we certainly have other weapons, and it's been enjoyable to coach this group because we've had different guys step up on different times, and that's what we'll look to do if Doug isn't able to go.
I'm feeling good. I feel like I'm healing every day a lot more. Right now, it's not decided.
Next man up, kind of, you know what I mean? Whoever needs to step up, needs to step up, kind of thing. If your name's called, just go out there, compete.
Now, the Coyote men have the most experienced team in the tournament, and with so many seniors, they know this is a big opportunity to make the big dance for the first time ever. It's been an up and down season for Todd Lee's team, but they are excited to see where the next few days will take them.
We feel like we can play with anybody. I tell our guys, it's a wide open tournament. We can beat anybody, obviously, but anybody can beat us. And, that's what makes it fun, but it also makes it stressful. But we feel like we can compete with anybody, obviously.
Tournament time is gritty. It's who's tougher, who's going to come down the stretch and make big shots late, because you're going to have some close games down the stretch. So it's about making big shots, and your big players got to perform. And so that's really who's going to take this one.
Does it give you goosebumps when you come out and you just feel it and hear it?
Yeah, for sure. There's not a lot of feelings like that. That's why the conference tournament is such a special thing, especially at the mid-major level, because it's really what makes a difference between you going to the NCAA tournament or not. And so going into there with that, with that at stake, and then also, all the fans are there supporting you, and you can just feel the buzz in that arena, and so it does give you a little bit of a goosebumps, that's for sure.
I will say this, I've been coaching for 30 years, and I've been mainly at the mid-major level, and this is the best conference tournament in the country at this level. I don't think it's close.
You know, yeah, definitely in the off season we were really pumped about this upcoming season, and we're here, and I don't think anybody else. I mean, I know for sure that our seniors and Stan and the whole program in the town of Vermillion is really excited for this conference tournament.
2014 was USD's only Summit League title as Amy Williams and her Coyotes advanced to the NCAA tournament at Iowa State, where they eventually lost to Stanford. And it was the start of some great Division I women's basketball in Vermillion. Now, the Coyotes of USD became the first Summit League team to make the NCAA tournament as an at-large team last year, which was pretty cool, but losing to State in the title game has been a motivator for a team that has become the second highest ranked team ever in Summit League history at 17. And they feel the sky is the limit for this team, as they also have great chemistry.
I would say this team has, probably some of the best chemistry of any team that I've ever played with, and that starts with off-the-court relationships. I think, it's kind of a rare thing to find a group of girls that is truly so close and genuinely like best friends off the court and have that translate to on the court, but that's kind of the MO of this group.
We're playing together, and the culture we have, even the girls on the bench cheering us all on, even though they don't play all the minutes that they want to, they've been a huge support for us, and our fans have been huge for us, and it's something we need going on into tournament time.
When you think about having a target on your back, I guess it means you're having a good season, I guess. So that part I enjoy. It means that we've been successful, that we're doing well. People are coming after us, but it makes going into every game a little bit nerve-wracking, I guess. That everyone's coming after you and anything can happen.
Do you just sit back and kind of marvel at what's happened with the squad?
Well, I think what's really special about them is that they want to continue to improve. And every team says that, but when players actually are doing that on the court, and we can see our seniors right now. It's easier to see when you watch freshmen because they go from not understanding the system to maybe not understanding the physicality, not understanding the speed, and then starting to figure it out. But right now, in our practices right now, our seniors are players right now that I watch and I say, man, that's a move I've never seen that kid make before. That's when it's really, really fun, and that's what this group is doing.
Over the years, the Summit League tournament has almost been the Jackrabbit Invitational. It is amazing what Aaron Johnson's team has done on a yearly basis, peaking with the first ever Sweet 16 for the program last year. Though this year's team has continued to perform at a high level after the graduations of Macy Miller and Madison Giebert, as well as the loss of Maya Sellen to injury, they go into this year's tournament as a decided underdog to USD. Not that they seem to care.
Yeah, it's been a good year. I think our team's overcome a lot of different things. Injuries have been tough. Every team deals with them. We've dealt with quite a few this year. I think we've had one player start every game, which is very unusual. But I think the team has handled them really well. We put ourselves in a good position. I like where we're at and excited to head down to Sioux Falls.
It was like we had that time period where we had a bunch of different injuries, and that's always a little bit harder to get through. But we've pushed through it, so I think we're ready to go. Everyone's had that experience in getting ready for these different scenarios, for different things. So I think it just brought us together as a team really well, and we're really ready to go for it.
I don't know that the regular season will impact at all how we do down in Sioux Falls. It's really about how we play on those days. Saturday is a tough matchup with North Dakota. We beat them twice, but they played us well in games. So we're going to have to figure out a plan to be successful. We've had a lot of different years going into Sioux Falls. Sometimes we've been one seed, sometimes we haven't. We've found ways to have success in Sioux Falls based on what we do down there. So, the regular season is certainly a good measuring stick for how people did for a long stretch of time, but now all that's kind of out the window.
Tournament time is just really a different atmosphere, so it really changes everything, and it just comes down to each individual game, and so we don't come in feeling that way.
2009 was the start of what's been an incredible run for the SDSU women. It was their first Summit League title, and the Jacks went on to win their first game in that tournament by 40 points. They also won 32 times that year before eventually losing in the final seconds to Baylor in the second round, a game that they almost won. Welcome back to Reaching the Summit, and here's where it gets to be a lot of fun. We're talking with two guys who cover the Jacks and Coyotes all season long for Midco Sports Network. We're talking about Tom Neiman, who actually played for State back in the day, and Jay Elson with USD. Welcome, guys.
Well, Tom, let's start with your old team first. The SDSU men, they've really grown as a team throughout the season, a young group, and they've done it with a lot of different heroes, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Douglas Wilson comes in as a transfer from a junior college and is just excellent this year. It turns out to be the player of the year, averaging about 20 points a game. And remember, South Dakota State had to replace 85% of its scoring from a year ago with Mike Dom and all those guys. But Wilson has been fantastic. Matt Dentlinger has really improved his scoring from about 3 points a game to 14 a game this year. And then those young guys you talk about for Coach Hendo, Noah Friedel, true freshman, has been fantastic, especially late in games. You got David Wingett, another freshman there who comes in and leads the team in three-point shots. Here's Friedel late in the game against USD, and that's where Noah has really been great in some of these closeout games and winning games for South Dakota State. So from the expectation of what everybody thought they were going to be to the end result of where they are right now has been a huge leap. And South Dakota State, you got to give them as good a shot as anybody to go on and win the Summer League tournament.
Friedel's been remarkable.
He's been
and he would have been at Wright State if everything had gone the way it planned.
As for the USD men, it's really been kind of a roller coaster season for the Coyotes, but they're clearly one of 4 or 5 teams that can very much win this thing. Jay, what has to be happen for them to be crowned champion on Tuesday night?
Well, I think first off, I think when this team has been the most successful this year, it is when they've gotten a little bit of help off their bench. And that has been a little bit more consistent here as we've gone down the stretch of the season. They haven't always won those games, but it's certainly been a big contribution to this team's success. Tyler Chisholm, Brandon Armstrong, Tassos Kamateros is a great story. The walk-on freshman out of Greece has developed into a nice piece off the bench for Todd Lee and company. The other thing I think they've got to do is they've got to play the kind of defense that helped them win 8 straight games in the middle of the conference season. Now, when they started, they were really struggling to keep teams away from the rim. Teams were able to get there at will, and as a result, they shot incredibly high percentages against USD, and we saw some of that again at different times down the stretch of the season. But for the most part, that defense has gotten a little bit better, and that's what's enabled them because they're so efficient offensively. They're among the top teams in the league, both in shooting overall and shooting the three. So the offense has always been there. If the defense comes alongside, I give them as good a shot, again, like Tom said, as anybody in the league, and I think you have to because on talent alone, they're right there.
And seniority. Now, the SDSU women, they also won 13 games, mainly doing it without their best player, Maya Sellen, like we've been kind of saying. But they play a couple of teams that beat them already in Frost Arena if it goes to form. So can they keep up their excellence, their run in this conference tournament?
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult because we get to the tournament here and they play North Dakota in the first game, and that's going to be a slugfest. In the game in Brookings, SDSU shot 41 free throws, and they've shot 63 free throws in the 2 games. So
Yikes.
UND really likes to get after you defensively. So, yeah, if the Jacks and Peyton Burkhardt here get by that first game, then they most likely will face Denver, a team that just beat SDSU at Frost Arena not that long ago. And if South Dakota State gets by that, presumably it would be the Coyotes who have beat them twice this year, and South Dakota having a fantastic season. But Megan Boltzmann has been good. Tegan Larson is in her senior year. Peyton Burkhardt, the sophomore from Aberdeen Central, has been really good. Riley Cascio-Jensen, good in stretches. So South Dakota State, yes, having another great season, but the Coyotes are sitting there in front of them.
Pretty good. And while it's been the Jackrabbit invite in the past, the Coyotes, who we've been talking about, heavy favorites to win their second Summit League title. Jay, can anybody beat this team?
Well, the easy answer is absolutely. Anybody can be beaten. I think we've seen that at different times with teams maybe we didn't expect to see get beaten. And even last year when USD, or a couple of years ago when USD came into this tournament as the number 1 seed, as an undefeated team, we thought maybe they were going to roll and that was going to be the year. And it didn't happen that way. But, as far as what has to happen for this team to be successful, I think it comes down to taking care of the basketball. If they do that, they're going to be in really good shape because can teams run with them? They're going to have an awful tough time of that because offensively this team has been that much farther ahead than everybody else all year. The difference is there's been one game really where they struggled taking care of the basketball. It happened in Tulsa. As a result, they had to squeak one out against Oral Roberts, won that game by just 4 points. If they take care of the ball, I like their chances as much as anyone has ever come into this tournament in terms of being a favorite. The obvious, you look at their record, their ranking, all of those things play in their favor, but you can't sleepwalk. And I think that's one thing that needs to be dispelled right here and now is if they don't bring their best, somebody could easily get them. And I think those possible semifinal matchups on Monday could be interesting for both South Dakota teams, because you've got Denver, a team that won in Brookings, potentially facing the Jackrabbits again, and then Oral Roberts, that team that gave the Coyotes their closest call of the season in the conference, potentially meeting them in the semifinal round on Monday.
Great job, you guys. Thanks for the insight.
thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
One word. Who's going to win the men's? One word.
Oh, gosh.
Quick.
North Dakota State seems like a pretty decent pick.
SDSU.
We hope you've enjoyed our show. Zach and I will reserve judgment, reaching for the summit. Now go out and enjoy the tournament, and if you can't get there, watch these two guys on Midcoast Sports Network and then play Matt Vick on Tuesday night. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the weekend.
Hey everyone, Kelsey Passold here. Thanks for checking out the Dakota News Now YouTube channel. Watch more featured stories, interviews, and show highlights over here. And make sure to follow along for more by hitting the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching.